Upcoming live streams. It's just waiting.
Yeah, I scheduled it for 10:45, thinking I'd start it before for a little pre-show, but
Well, we can, nobody's.
we're 10 minutes late to the 11 o'clock.
Listen, it's okay.
All right, we're live. We're good. That's some good stuff right there, yo.
All right.
This is what the people came for.
Time to make it work.
This is what plants
disappoint them.
Okay,
might as well get it over with. We know it's going to happen.
All right.
Wow, you guys, it is not June 27th anymore.
Uh-oh.
That's the one job we gave Jeremy, and he just...
I blew it.
Yeah.
All right.
It's like me with calendars on my wall, They'll just be on May for like 3 years.
It's May somewhere.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Game Bytes Show podcast. Guys, it's July 11th, 2021. This evening, we are here to bring you the Game Bytes Show. Yes, we are.
Oh, yeah.
My name's LeGrand Jolly, your host this evening, joined by co-hosts Jeremy Lamont. Hello, Jeremy.
Hey, everybody. Happy Slurpee Day.
And Dale Jones.
Hi. I didn't have a Slurpee.
7-Eleven day, bud.
Well, it is. It's
I
the
did
happiest
drive
day
by
here, the most
7-Eleven
joyous.
today.
And Jared Dunn as well here.
Man, I can't help but notice how good your lighting is, LeGrand. That's amazing.
I have an upgrade. I've upgraded all the things in the last couple weeks.
Moisturizing his skin now.
That's
serious
right.
Business,
That's right.
Serious business over here,
Using
guys. We gotta put on
sunscreen, really.
I was out in the sun for the last 2 days. I was out camping all weekend long, and my lips are sunburned. I can feel it.
That's really.
But the rest of me is not. But my lips are sunburned, and it kind of sucks a lot.
I have
Did you go camping to like get away from the AC or what?
You know, man, it was a family reunion, and it was fine. I had a good old time. It was really hot, though, like way too hot. Hey, pass me some of that. Here,
yeah, it's got SPF in it. You can't see it because my light blows it out.
I wish I had some. Then I could have totally taken it.
No, how cool would that have been?
That would have been amazing.
Cool.
I don't have. Wait a minute. Let me look around. I don't think I have any right here.
Balmy.
Man, all this crap I have sitting on my desk is a bunch of garbage and food. No, it's not. Well, there is some food and stuff and computers and no chapstick.
No chapstick.
Yeah, I'm more about the repair rather than the prevention. Just like let it happen, patch it up when you're through it.
I feel like that's a bad approach to almost everything.
No.
You wouldn't last a week in the wasteland.
That's right.
Well, I did.
You guys ever seen that movie, that Naked and Afraid movie? You guys or TV show? Sorry,
I just live it every day.
Show. They drop two people, like a male and a female, naked in the middle of the jungle, and they have to survive for 30 days. Have you guys ever seen this?
I never have.
I've heard of it.
I've heard of it. But
they have it on at the gym for whatever reason.
No, I have seen an episode of this because my parents watch it, and last time I was there, my mom was watching an episode, and I sat down and watched it with her, and I was just like, I was wondering, I was like, are they really always naked, or do they have clothes that they put on when the cameras aren't?
I don't think so, dude. I think that's the point of those types of reality shows, right? Like if they survive the 30 days, they get a prize. If they don't, then they don't get the prize.
The one that I was watching, it was, or at least the part that we were watching, there was 3 of them. There was 2 guys and a girl, and they're in some
sausage party, huh? Not
kind of sounds like it.
And but yeah, they all 3, I think, made it to the end. Because they all left at the same time, on the,
on the helicopter, or whatever that comes in,
or whatever.
Yeah. You're probably just wondering why they didn't have any butt cracks, huh? You're just like, what is going on?
Yeah, there was definitely a lot of mosaic.
Did they spackle over them? Is that how that
There's
works?
definitely a lot of mosaic in in that.
There's plenty of that for sure. It's like cubism, artwork from
Cubism.
it's
yeah.
Anyway,
morning cube.
Okay.
Well,
I
did go out to 7-Eleven day. It's a scam.
Oh, hey, Jeremy's trying to derail our amazing conversation we're having, Dale. I'm really enjoying it.
It's done. I'm done with Cubist butt cracks. We are we're no longer in the era of actual free 7-Eleven Slurpees. Now you got to do an app and it's 1 per. And by the time I had to sign up for the thing, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna buy the Slurpees.
App.
So I just
Do they
I
like
just
mail
bought
it
my
to you?
kids-
They used to have it where they'd have like a cardboard cutout with like a hole in it,
And you could fit-
whatever
if you could-
device you can make through that thing,
Yeah.
whatever container you could fit through that
What?
hole in the cardboard.
Yeah.
You've never
That's right.
participated in 7-Eleven free Slurpee Day? You've never done that?
The last time I did it, I got like a cup this size. of
Yeah.
holding up a glass to the.
So they
Just
video.
allow you.
swirled it.
They allow you to bring.
Yeah.
Well, they used to allow you to bring your own receptacle, right? So you get like
Yeah.
the biggest thing you can have. You can find that'll fit in like a 10-inch circle, and you have to fit it through
Right.
this hole, and then
Just
they
get a
allow you to
fish
fill
bowl.
it up. Yeah. Oh, exactly. Yeah. So we filled up like huge Tupperwares
An
and
inner tube.
exactly whatever. Oh yeah, you fit it through, and then you blow it up, and then you
Yeah.
fill it up.
Nah. Then you
Now we're
drink the whole
talking.
thing right there with everyone waiting.
In front, make eye contact while you do it. Just like
You know those
Flex on them.
those like 5-gallon glass water cooler bottles.
Yeah.
Just fill that up with Slurpee.
Exactly. Exactly. That's the thing. Is if they were like long
Got
and
'em.
tall, then you're all good.
Mm-hmm.
But you know. I
will
think, did you
say-
have more? Do you have more success with the McDonald's app or the 7-Eleven app? Just asking
I
for
ended up
friends.
well. So the thing is, they had pity on me because I told them. I said straight up, I said this is not worth it. I said I'm just going to buy the Slurpees, and they're like, no, just get the just get the 50. So I got the free Slurpee, and I got a 50-cent donut for 7-Eleven's birthday or whatever. Let me tell you though,
50-cent donut?
not the best thing. Let me tell you something that I
Aren't
did this
donuts
week.
already like 60 cents or something?
I don't know. It was 50.
Donuts like
maybe
$1,
10 cents
$50.
off.
gas
Donuts
station.
like 30 cents at 7-Eleven. They actually just charged him more
Yeah.
because
They
Here's
upcharge.
the best deal I got this week. So I did a couple things this week. I went to the local Scottish festival. Awesome. I wear my Clan Lamont shirt once a year.
Oh, yeah.
Show up, shake
What's your
some
tartan
hands,
look like?
blow up some kilts. It's good. It's a good tartan. It's it's got stripies and squares.
it's got some
on it.
like
kinda like-
lines in it and some
Yeah,
colors.
there's lines.
Is there kinda
splash
like a
of-
green and a red.
Yeah.
Blue, maybe?
Yeah, kind of a little bit of yellow here and there.
Yeah.
And so speaking of, the vendor that does the root beer and the cream soda, you can buy a giant like a decanter type thing. Like it's got a style, like a metal handle, like all on it. You
Oh,
can
yeah.
latch it down and keep it, sealed and stuff. And you spend like $35 or something the first year, but then you can come back and refill it as much as you
It's
want.
like a
So
it's
you
like a
close that
root
thing.
beer
Yeah.
growler.
It is a big growler, and you just pay $5 and refill the whole thing. I went back like 3 times. I brought plastic cups. I was like, share it all around, brothers. And I was like the hero of the Scottish festival this year.
That was
it was
my
free.
Lamont.
favorite and least favorite thing about doing the volunteering at the booth or whatever at video game like shows or whatever to try to get people to sign up for charity was you'd go buy the big mug of root beer and
The
you
Wild
get like as many
Bills?
refills as you want or whatever. And
That
like,
Wild
you'd be-
Bill's root beer thing.
Yeah,
that's at
you'd
the
feel like you're
conventions?
gonna float away. Gosh.
Oh, yeah,
that
dude.
was
I
rough.
love root beer. It's been so long since I had root beer.
I'm a
Man,
big-
root
and they
beer
also-
float is my favorite dessert.
I love root
They
beer.
also did a
floats.
cream soda stout, which is pretty good too.
Ooh.
Sounds good.
But let me tell you something. Did I talk last week about the Coca-Cola coffee? Did I talk about
Oh,
that?
I've tried that.
I don't think so.
Did you
I
like it?
like it.
Really?
I don't like coffee. I'm not a big cola drinker, but and I got the vanilla. I got the vanilla Coke
Okay.
coffee, and I just kind of it was on sale. Like our local grocery
Right.
stores, like
They're
here, use
blowing
this-
that out because nobody
Yeah.
buys it. 'cause
Well,
it's
it's,
not that
it's like
good.
99 cents. I'm like, you know what? I'll try it, and I did, and it's
What's the
earthy and
branding?
sweet. It's
Is
Coke.
it-
It's like
is it Coca-Cola coffee, or is it
coffee.
like
Yeah.
it's like some coffee brand using Coca-Cola's flavor?
No,
Like, what-
no. That's what it is. It's actually a
It's in
Coke
a
product.
red can.
And
and
it comes in almost like an energy drink style thin kind of can.
it's like a Red Bull size can, like
Yeah,
a
yeah.
medium sized Red Bull.
Yep.
can.
It's actually just
And-
Coca-Cola that's gone bad, and they're like, "Oh, just
Yeah.
sell this coffee."
No, it's actually really tasty.
You
and I've
liked
gotten
it, huh?
nothing but- I did like it. In fact, I
I
got
better give it
2 this
another
week.
shot because I
I
did
like
try
it.
it once.
I'm gonna go back. I'm gonna maybe get one tomorrow before the coupon expires because I don't want to pay $3 for it or whatever. But 99 cents, just right. And I'm gonna try a little creamer in there and see if it's
You're gonna put
no, I'm
creamer
just,
in your
no,
soda?
I'm just kidding. I'm
What
just
is
kidding. I'm
going
just
on?
kidding. No, I'm just kidding. But it
Cream
is
soda.
actually pretty tasty. But the
It's a
vanilla
cream
one, I think, is the
soda
one that I
now.
like. Yeah,
Yeah, it's already vanilla
exactly.
flavored.
I might actually. Now that Jared says that, it does kind of sound tolerable.
does
I may-
not.
I may do it. You want some fizzy? No, it is. It's
Fizzy
like
I mean,
coffee.
that's what a float is, right?
Yeah,
I
it
mean,
is
it's
like a
just
float.
Ice
That's it.
cream.
That's
in
it. I'm
your
gonna get
soda.
Oh, dude, that wouldn't be bad. Vanilla ice cream with that Coke.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it,
Coffee?
you guys. Next week, I'll tell you how it went. I'm doing it.
So if
Okay,
Jeremy's
I'll
not
hold you to
here,
it.
you know it went
I'm putting-
poorly.
I'm putting a note on the
broadcasting
outline
from the
right
emergency
now
room.
for next week to check up on Jeremy's.
Do we need to
respond.
do
Ulcer.
like with the movies and give it a Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah, Rotten
rating?
Tomatoes score 24.
24 out of 100 for the
24, yeah.
Coca-Cola coffee.
Yeah, it wasn't as good as I thought it was. It was overhyped.
Yeah. Nice. Except for the viewer score was way high.
I know.
Yeah.
Everybody seems to love it out there. People have no
Everyone
taste.
loved watching you yak in the corner.
That's right. Well, boys and girls, I think it's time to talk about video games. Dude, listen, I've been playing Final Fantasy 14 still. Sorry, not sorry. Still. Yeah,
Hey, listen, I got something to
I don't know
right
what to
away.
do, man.
There's a
don't know what to do.
2-week free login period anytime from now until I think the end of August. Is that what I posted? So if you guys have used a Final Fantasy 14 account and are lapsed on it, like I am, Dale probably also.
Is that on
Like we
GeForce
used to
now?
get a crew rolling in there. I don't think so, but whatever. But
I
here's
have
the
got a
thing.
handful of characters at different stages of the game, so I
Really?
could play with anybody probably right now.
Well, you can play. The cool thing is you can play with anybody anytime anyway, but everything level scales. But where normally it was like, 72 hours from the time that you log in, 2 weeks, 2 solid weeks to play Final Fantasy 14.
Well,
So
they're
if you like me-
capitalizing right now. Did you guys follow kind of like the World of Warcraft meltdown with Final Fantasy
Yeah, there was some
rising
kind of
from the ashes?
YouTube streamer or something.
No, what
Yeah,
happened?
so there's a dude named Asmongold who is a high end. He has 2 million subscribers on Twitch. That type of guy, and
Almost
he
as many as we do.
He's a big World of Warcraft guy, and he streams high end raid content. And he basically quit WoW and is now playing Final Fantasy 14. Today I was watching him. He had 120,000 viewers watching him play Final Fantasy.
Yeah,
14.
in his first
Good on that guy.
stream, he was like getting griefed and stuff by players. And
Yeah, and actually he came out on there's a video that maybe I'll post it, but there was a video of him like basically giving his first impressions of the game and talking about it, and he's like all about it, dude. And I'm really excited because I really feel so WoW kind of went through a weird thing where their latest expansion came out and it was fine. There's plenty of content. They waited 8 months, so the first content patch dropped like last week. And apparently it was very, very lackluster and not a lot of story content. There was a raid and a dungeon and a bunch more bullshit treadmill stuff. And apparently a lot of people aren't very happy. So all the buzz around the internet, around the MMO, genre, I guess right now is how World of Warcraft, everyone is leaving World of Warcraft in droves to play Final Fantasy 14. And I'm just saying like, hey, first, like I left World of Warcraft like 3 months ago. And have been playing Final Fantasy 14 ever since because at that point I was done with it again.
Not 9 years into Final Fantasy 14, Legrand is claiming that spot.
In before the rush.
So it's interesting. So that guy, he puts on he's already at the end of Realm Reborn content. He's been doing the raid content. in
He's
Realm
already
Reborn.
past me. I'm still sitting at the end.
Well,
of that
bro,
thing.
when you get paid to play video games like millions of dollars a year, like yeah,
That's true. I'd probably do it.
you'd probably also be at the end game of that. So
Anybody wants
anyway,
to pay
I've just been
me
kind of
millions
making my way
dollars a year?
through.
Yeah.
What was that?
If anybody wants to pay me millions of dollars a year to play video games, I'll even let you choose what they are.
Oh, dude. Okay. Well, let me see what I can do.
we'll get
right on that.
It is not on GeForce.
I have been making my way through the Stormblood after content in between that and Shadowbringer. So I've been doing the raid content. I've been doing all that still. And I keep on just finding new things to do that have been kind of derailing me from the main story missions, which is fine because that game is just ridiculous. There's so much to do in that game, especially now that all the content is still relevant and people are running it. So there's always content to do. But that game is great. I also started watching the No Clip documentaries. This is the documentary that I think Danny O'Dwyer did.
Yeah, that's a good one.
No Clip. It's like 5 hours long, but it basically talks about how Final Fantasy 14 failed, what they did to rebuild it, and then Realm Reborn, basically, and how they brought in the guy from Dragon Quest to kind of take it over, and just the whole story of that. And it's been fascinating, especially because I'm now like all in. It's kind of like after I got done watching playing God of War, and then I watched that sick documentary that Jeremy should probably watch sometime.
I'm getting right on it. I'm gonna do it.
It's kind of like that. Like you're super interested in that stuff because you're into that game or whatever. And so at this point, like this documentary is just incredible to watch. It's really interesting.
Is that the one where they talk to the localizer, Koji Fox, the guy who's responsible for all like the memes and the jokes and all the quest titles and stuff like that?
Yeah, he's
Gotta
the guy
respect
that
that
like
guy.
was like, this quest text is really boring. I'm gonna spice it up myself, and he just
Yeah.
kind of like did stuff. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yep.
So I watched a bunch of that. I'm probably partway through the second episode. There's 3 episodes. So one is like Final Fantasy 14 and why it sucked, the rebuilding of Final Fantasy 14, and then Realm Reborn is the last episode of this stuff. But I also picked up Metroid Fusion. Sorry, by picked up I mean I picked up my Game Boy Advance and plugged it in. I thought that I actually had sold my Metroid Fusion copy because I did buy it new when it came out, like, oh shoot, what, 15 years ago, I guess at this point.
Yeah, a long time ago.
And I thought I had sold it, but I didn't. I found it, and I was like, oh my gosh, I have this. I'm going to totally play it. And so I put it in, and
Metroid 4.
yeah, started playing Metroid 4, Metroid Fusion. The storyline of this one is really interesting. The gameplay, the story of what's going on and why it's called Metroid Fusion is really interesting, but the gameplay and the way that the actual game is laid out is not as interesting. The story is that basically Samus was flying around and she wrecked her ship, and this parasite attached itself to her ship, to her power suit, and basically infected her. And in order to save her life, they had to make a vaccine out of some Metroid cells from that last Metroid from Metroid 3. And so they injected her with this vaccine, and in doing so, she basically assumed some of the powers in her power suit. All the organic parts that the parasite had kind of taken over on her power suit became infused with Metroid stuff. And in doing so, you also lost all of your cool stuff that you could do, right? Like all the rad power-ups you had gotten over the last few games. You lost all that stuff.
I'm sorry, ma'am,
again.
your double jump is no longer.
Exactly. Your high jump now, no.
Screw attack? I don't think so.
Yeah, you don't have any of that again. But it's like, okay, well, now what you need to do is go get all that stuff back. So they actually put you on this like space station that is like a place where it's like a laboratory where they're testing all these different biomes and organisms and stuff like that. And this parasite has infected this space station. And as you kill the enemies, you can absorb the parasite. And the Metroid is like a natural predator of this parasite, I guess.
Sucks energy. Oh yeah, the X parasite. Is it the Metroids attacks the parasite, or the parasite attacks the Metroids?
Metroids can, or the natural predator.
They're like
of
the only one. Yeah.
Yeah. And so you whenever you kill the bosses, it's like a huge parasite, and then you absorb it, and that's how you get your high jump back, for example, because it makes your suit extra cool again because you absorb the parasite. But the whole layout of the level really reminds me of Metroid Other M. Where the gameplay is fine. It's great. Like it's a standard 2D side-scrolling Super Metroid, that style of game, right? But the way that they present the story is like you have a navigational computer that you're talking to, and it's like, okay, well, now it's time to go to Sector 3 and do stuff over there. Here's your point on the map you're going to.
And there's dialogue too. Like you have an XO or something, like Adam.
It's like it's a computer, Adam. Yep.
Yeah.
As I recall, in that game, the sections are not so interlinked with one another.
They're not at all. There's like an elevator that goes into these different sections of the map.
Right.
And that's like your hub, right? And so you get done with an area, it's like, okay, you got to go over to Sector 5 now because there's some shit going down over there, and you got to get over there and stop it. Like, okay, so you go in there, and that's like the fire land, and you got to go get the Varia suit, and now you can be in the fire or whatever.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, there's like another like Dark Samus that's like basically the parasite version of you.
Samus.
Yeah, what do they call her? Like the Hunter Samus or Dark Hunter or something?
X, like Sam X or something, SX.
Samus Extreme.
Something like that.
Oh, yeah. Dark Samus.
But yeah, the game's really good. And when I loaded up the card, I had exactly one save file on there, which was my own. And so I beat the game, looks like 100%, like 6 hours, I think. 5 or 6 hours, and I'm probably 2 hours into it right now. Just kind of cruising along, having a good time. Again, the gameplay of that game is fantastic. And I'm playing it on the GBA SP. I kind of wish I had a GameCube with that little GBA thing that goes on the bottom. Like, that'd be dope. I wish I had one of those. Yeah, I wish I had one of those.
Has Nintendo never released that on like a digital service anywhere?
I don't think so. Same with Zero Mission.
They only have once, and it's in the Nintendo DS. If you're on the Ambassador program, they had a few exclusive games that you could download from that. That's the only way that you can play it on the 3DS.
Nintendo, what the hell are you doing?
GBA has such a good library. It's basically portable Super Nintendo. Like, why don't they have all of that on the Switch?
Like, their whole approach honestly to everything is just confounding.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean,
true.
their stuff is so
true.
good, generation to generation, and then but it's gone. Like,
It's 'cause they
how
can charge you
long
for it
was
again
Mario
someday.
Maker on the Wii U, whatever, like that nobody had? Like, what?
Yeah.
They could do it, Jeremy, and people would buy it, but they haven't done it, and it's been. I mean,
Well, just keep hurry up and wait. They're not in any hurry.
It'll
They'll
come
come
it
around
doesn't matter, man.
eventually.
It doesn't. It
With
doesn't.
the Super Mario, was it 3D All Stars that they only sold for 6 months and then it went
Yeah,
away?
exactly.
Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
What are you
Yeah.
doing?
Exactly.
Nintendo is always trying to protect, which to their credit, like it's a bold approach. They're always trying to protect the value
And I
of their
hate it.
digital IP.
And people who aren't Super Nintendo nerds who don't buy all that shit day one and still have like workable Game Boy Colors, like just
Mhm.
Yeah.
they can't ever
No, it's
do
true.
that stuff. And it's
It's true. Yeah.
I mean,
It's true.
for some reason, like Nintendo apologists will always be like, "Oh, it's fine, like whatever." Nintendo just, when Nintendo can just do what
Have
Nintendo
you seen
wants.
the
I'm
new
like, yeah, it
Smash
doesn't mean that
character?
it's good that they're doing it, right? Like,
Right.
I don't know. There's plenty of money to be made, and at the very least, it makes their online offering, their little virtual console on the Switch, like a little bit better. Maybe.
Yeah, that's true.
Well,
do
and
that.
even like I remember sitting when it first kind of came out. Not when it first came out. When I first got it, because of like a Twitch freebie or whatever, the Nintendo Online on the Switch or whatever, where you could play older NES games. That was kind of fun, like to jump back into Excite Bike. Like, I'm not going to sit and play Excite Bike for hours and hours or
Yeah.
anything, right?
What?
But
I
I know
I
it's
do.
really probably that good. I probably should. But I remember sitting down with the kids and like playing it, and like they would play a game and be like, "This is hard." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. They were
Yeah.
terrible back then." But
Yeah, we
That's what
did
made
that
me
with
the man I am
the-
today, children.
We did
yeah,
that with the SNES Mini when I got my SNES Mini. Like the kids were all about it for a little bit, and
Yeah.
it was cool and fun. And
how do you save, Dad? Save?
yeah, you got to write down that password.
You got to get that code, right? Yeah.
Yeah, the Mega Man, the grid with the balls that go in the.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna finish up Metroid Fusion. I'll probably pop in Zero Mission because why not? I guess. And
Yeah,
then
sure.
I don't know. Might as well get that Samus Returns on was that 3DS game or was that a Switch game? I can't remember. Metroid 2.
That's the 3DS.
That was 3DS.
Did you have to have like the souped up 3DS? Because I don't have one of
No.
those.
I think it was a native title. It wasn't like a GBA SNES thing. I mean, it was native to the 3DS.
You don't need a Circle Pad Pro or whatever it's called.
Right.
Oh, you didn't? Did it run better on like that 3DS? Am I going to get a
I don't
subpar
think
experience?
so. I don't think so.
If
I
you
think
get
there
a-
was very
If
limited
you don't
applications.
ask the question, you'll
Excellent.
never know. And
Yeah.
I'm asking the question because
don't do it.
that game's
It's better to
$50.
not know.
That game is $50 on Amazon. I am not.
Yeah.
Hell,
Well, that's the
I'll
thing.
borrow-
That's what I'm
I
saying.
think my
It's-
brother has it.
It does not benefit because it's just a native 3DS title that you can play on any 3DS is the thing. So
Why is it
Play it on a
$50?
3DS XL.
because it's a native 3DS game.
I guess you're right.
Because people pay it and they charge it and they get away with it, so they keep doing it.
Well, I guess I would do that too.
Well,
They're not Ubisoft, right? Like discount their game by half after
Yeah.
4 months.
$20 by
doesn't
the
happen.
holidays. Nope.
Doesn't happen. Anyway.
Well, funny you should mention Ubisoft. The game that I've been playing this week, I'm actually super stoked for. It is not available for public consumption. Legrand, I think you got in on this, and I don't know if you've
did.
tried it out yet.
I did.
I did too, and I'm thrilled with it. And actually, I talked to a random person that I know, an acquaintance, and said, "Hey," because I knew he liked the guitar, and he's like, "Yeah, I got that too." And so like all of these like guitar and guitar adjacent people, I pulled my guitar out for the first time in 15 years to play Rocksmith Plus,
Whoa.
which is the as soon as Ubisoft showed it at their E3 thing and said there was going to be a beta for it, I'm like, yes, sign me up. And this week it popped up as a thing you can do, and so I got out my electric guitar. I'm actually I'll sing this one for you.
Oh no. Hey, so is this
I didn't
while you
sign up
get
for
this
this.
out? Is this it's an all new title? Is it just a service you subscribe to? Because I know
I think
we
that they're
have-
going to make it a service rather
yeah,
than
we have like
standalone title.
the last Rocksmith, but I don't know.
It's an all new game. It's a service. I don't know. So I found out that I've got like a lot more guitar stuff than I thought I did.
We're gonna
including
get
I actually have a
content ID'd
USB
for that.
I know. That was Pink Floyd, by the way. I wish you were here. But I actually have one of those USB cables. So the thing about Rocksmith Plus, so the thing was always that you had to have this special cable, and it was just
Mhm.
really hard to come by. Most of the times you were buying it on eBay for exorbitant
They're
prices.
all
It
up
was
on
just-
Amazon.
Yeah.
And
So
I think any cable that'll plug into your guitar and USB into
that's
your
what I found out. So
yeah.
here's the thing.
I'll
So
sell
for
you mine
Rocksmith
for
Plus,
60
the
bucks.
the thing that they were going to do is they were going to get out a phone, and you could like get an app, and then that would function as your microphone, so you wouldn't need. And you can you could use an acoustic guitar, you could do all kinds of things. It's kind of cool. So I downloaded the app, I tried it out. It works
It's
pretty
okay.
well. Yeah, it's all right. But here's the thing: as I was rummaging around my stuff, I'm like, I've got a USB interface. So I plugged that thing in. And so Rocksmith, I guess let me just take a step back for just a minute. So Rocksmith is just like your rock band. You have a note highway coming at you, and the colors are associated with each of the strings. It'll kind of like glide up and down the neck of the guitar so that you can kind of see, well, I need to be on the 6th position. This is fret number 9, whatever. It works more like tablature than like a note reading. And it'll do chord shapes and things like that. And you just see them coming at you, and you just have to strum at the right time, and you can learn like actual guitar notes. And the cool thing, so two things about it. One is that in Rocksmith Plus, anyway, and I never tried the original, but you can actually slide a difficulty slider on this, and it works in percentages. So it's not just like easy, medium, hard, expert. It's like 18% was just like a little too intense. Let me slide it back down to 15%. And it will kind of reduce the complexity. You might just have a single note coming at you instead of a couple of notes or a chord or something like that. And, you're playing along with the real song and that sort of thing. It doesn't eliminate the guitar part that you're playing. So you're just kind of playing along with, but you can adjust the volume. So the song volume can be low and the guitar volume can be high, which honestly is sometimes a little bit painful, but you can do it.
That
The
sounds
other
cool.
cool thing, if you have the interface, is that it works just like an effects pedal. Like if you have an amp plugged in and they have one of those pedals you can click that makes it go into overdrive mode or whatever. And
Mhm.
because it's a software product, it takes care of that for you. So I've been playing a lot of that Superman song by Goldfinger, and it goes back and forth between like the clean strumming sound and like the overdrive, and
Yeah.
it'll just do it right for you, which is something you don't get the benefit of that if you're using the app. So I still think that this works a lot better with the guitar interface. It hears every note. It's dead honest with you. You can actually even set the sensitivity of how picky it is about
Oh,
did you
you
hit
can?
everything? Yeah, you can tell it
I was having problems with the app picking up chords that I know were freaking right. Like, I
That's what
know they were
and
right.
that's what I thought too. The other thing you can do is you can actually have it go into practice mode. So practice mode lets you set any boundaries on the song, and it'll kind of, just kind of like you'd expect. It'll rewind to the beginning. You can set the speed so you can have enough time to get your fingers in the right position, then finally hit the strum. But then you can also make it so it takes away the music. Or greatly reduces the volume of the music, and it plays like a MIDI version of just what you should be playing and that sort of thing. So there are a lot of what I would call accessibility tools to kind of help you when you think like, I know I got it. I know I got it. And then you can play it back and you're like, oh, yeah, I guess maybe I was buzzing on that one string, or, maybe I was doing a minor chord instead of a whatever. It has in the beta a pretty good library of stuff
It's
going all the
okay.
way from, yeah, I'd say there's a good variety of things there. Going all the way from
Uh,
like
I couldn't find a whole lot that I actually wanted to play out of that.
I will say the search function is a little weird, but you can sort by difficulty. So the songs will have their own difficulty levels. So there's songs that just naturally are harder or easier. But then, like I said, once you get in there, you can say, I want to set the slider up. I can set the slider down. And as you replay it, the game will automatically, if you say, oh, play this again, it'll automatically, based on how well you did last time, how many hits or misses you had with the notes, it'll increase the slider for you. So you can actually just kind of drill it. My fingers are killing me. I did not have the calluses. I've got to get them back. And the thing is, I enjoyed it so much that I wanted to come back like the next night. And I'm like, I can do it. Oh, that hurts, but maybe I can play through it. And I'm like, oh no, I actually can't do it. So I've had to recuperate, from playing Rocksmith Plus.
Yeah.
But I find myself kind of wanting to go back to it, and it's kind of cool for me. I have never played. I played a lot. I played from my like late teens until I had my first kid 15 years ago, whatever. So I played a lot, but I never played with anyone else. And so this experience for me is kind of cool because you can find out, and I'm sure guitarists, this electric guitar that I've got in my lap right now was not my main ride. I was doing like some classical guitar, and I tried that. I was like all excited because they're like, oh, you can do Ode to Joy, but it's like the Jimi Hendrix version of Ode to Joy or something. So it's not exactly what you want. So there may be some, for all of you classical guitarists out there listening right now, this may not exactly scratch the itch for you.
Well,
But
it's called Rocksmith, not classical guitar
classic
smith.
Smith.
Well, so here's the thing that I found. So as a person who plays the guitar probably every day, and I read tabs every single day, and I read whatever, playing this was difficult.
Yes,
And
because everything is upside down.
Yeah, it's backwards, first of all. Second of all, the way the notes come at you is like, if it would like pop it up, like I have a subscription to ultimateguitar.com where you can basically pull up the real version of any song and hit play and then play along with it. And obviously it's not reading it for you and telling you if you've played it right or not, right? It's not grading you, but it is kind of following along that way. If I could look at it the way that most places that tab out music does it, and have it play along that way and allow me just to follow that way rather than follow with this wacky wannabe Guitar Hero rock band thing.
Well, here's the
totally
thing. So for the uninitiated, the way it works is when you read musical tablature on a paper, the highest string, which is actually down towards your knees, that's the high E string, is on the top. It's like reading a staff. The high
It's like
notes
you're
are up
looking
on
down
top.
at the guitar rather
Exactly.
than
With this, you're actually looking incredibly. Like I actually think this is kind of a cool idea, but you're right. Like I found myself like playing upside down a lot. Like I'm like, oh, man, I got to relearn.
I had a problem like hitting the chords. Like I was like, that's not a G chord.
Yeah, exactly. Like that's
G
totally
chord.
like what is that? But the way it works is you are actually sort of looking sort of through the back of a virtual neck of a guitar. So it would be as if the notes were coming at you. So it's the low string.
So the
is
thickest
the one
string
on
is still on the top?
top. Yeah. But on musical notation, normally the high string is on top. So when it's
I feel like they're trying to make it accessible for people who
don't do it at
probably
all.
don't play guitar at all, right? And it's like, and here's a very simple way to show you notes and have you learn a song without actually, doing it this way is like a training way to get into the guitar. And
it's kind of strange though, because you think about that concept, like, it's fun. I like the way it kind of gamifies learning the guitar, but I still feel like if you really want to learn it, you probably need more than this, right? So,
absolutely.
Why do it different or not have the option to do it the same way that you probably are learning everywhere else? Because
that's what I mean. It's like
you're going to develop bad habits, right? And like you probably
I don't know if you'll develop bad habits, and it might be so for me. Here's the thing: like learning classical guitar, I was like, you got to learn the notes. You cannot do this on tab. It's not the way you do it. You got to learn the notes. And so then tablature, and that's the thing. And so tablature then was like that for me. I was like, oh, what am I looking at? Like this is so messed up. And then I would like get kind of used to that. It would hurt my note reading. And so in some ways, it's kind of like the same old story. I actually really kind of admire the way that they've approached it. But I agree with you. Like for about 15 minutes, I have to like think upside down for a minute until I can get it. Once I do, though, actually still if they're doing individual notes in the middle of my string, like if they're doing like the D string or something, I'm like,
no,
okay,
I can't do it.
I've got to hit that one. But I do admire that approach of kind of visualizing what actually is happening on the guitar, and the way that, again, that it kind of moves up and down the neck and it sort of telegraphs the stuff, like where are you going to be next. And as I was saying earlier, having not played with anybody other than myself in a room alone, and the odd recital or whatever, it's cool to have the effects kick in, and I'm hitting like a power chord and it's just like 2 notes or something, but it's like boom, 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 and I'm playing like Summer of '69 or something, and I'm sounding all right. So I've just actually really enjoyed it. I don't know.
It is cool. I agree with you. It's awesome. It's pretty cool.
I don't know. Like I'm really kind of enjoying the beta for $0. When it becomes a subscription service, like I don't know what I'm gonna do.
What would be your barrier of entry? What would be your cost that you would pay for?
I mean, I feel like they're going to be charging like $15 or so. I don't know.
That'd be too high. What if they charge you? I mean, I pay $60 a year for my Ultimate Guitar subscription.
Maybe $5, $5 a month, I think.
Okay, so if you could pay $60 a year or $100 or $10 a month.
But it's still going to run the risk though of being that thing like that gym membership, right? Like I just I pay for it,
like every subscription is. Yeah.
Exactly. So I feel like I would just kind of, because here's the other side of this. I don't have the personal bandwidth to be picking up the guitar anyway. I mean, I feel like as cool as it is, and I'm like, yeah, I'm going to do this again, and I'm like, I'm going to find some dudes. We're going to do a band. I'm like, no, and I can't anyway.
It's like the ultimate Jeremy weird peripheral.
Like myself, I am it. I'm the instrument.
Just start a band, dude. I did it last year.
I know.
just
I
did it for
know.
the first time in
And
my
Yeah,
life.
with
I'm the
like
same way. Like I would
with
love to be in a band, and I finally freaking just
just
did
did
it.
it.
with like
Yeah.
smoke effects and everything. It's
This
dope.
Dude,
is
we've done
this
it.
is a good taste, and it
Lights.
probably helps me too that I've got all of the stuff already, and I just kind of was kind of rummaging through stuff, and I was like, oh, I guess I really was like a little more kid. I've got an effects pedal, and I've got an amplifier, and I've got all kinds of weird cables and all kinds of things. So it turns out that I was like really set up for this already. But as such, like that has been my experience. It has been really positive. Again, it's only for those who signed up for the closed beta anyway. So if this sounds interesting to you, if you're listening or watching and you're like, I'm going to do it, be aware that you kind of got to have some prerequisites kind of figured out. But again, the app does, at least everybody's got a phone, so it does overcome that initial barrier to entry of having an interface to plug in. But it is really cool to be able to plug in and have all
It's
those audio
it's going to be
effects.
$15 a month, $40 for
Whoa.
3 months, or $100 for 12 months,
Whoa,
Yeah,
according to
like
Ubisoft's website.
that's a lot.
it's cool. I wonder how long they'll stick with that though, because I can't do that.
Yeah.
So I'm going to use this beta as much as I can. I don't know actually how long it's going, but as much as my fingers can stand it, I'm gonna enjoy this and then put my guitar away for another 15 years until virtual holographic reality comes out and I can be on stage for real.
And you can be really bad on stage for real.
Yeah,
I will
exactly.
also mention that it works on the bass. I use the bass guitar on it, and there's a whole separate bass track
Yes.
Yep.
as well.
That's
Yes.
that's actually
And
we
that-
have it, but it's for a bass.
That might have something to do with maybe the selection. I don't know. Because it does let me choose between lead guitar and rhythm guitar. So any given song, I've got a couple different approaches to it. And it just has a lot of cool little bells and whistles.
It's actually really
Um,
cool if you are playing, not to talk about this any longer, but if you
Right.
do play the bass, because, if you sit and play along in a song on bass, it sounds a lot different than the song a lot of times. So it's fun to be able to
for
hear
me,
the
it's
song
kind
and
of
play along with it.
it's kind of hit or miss. Like sometimes too, and it'll be like I don't know if I'm supposed to be playing like a little less, like because it tells you turn up your volume on your guitar and turn up your tone all the way. And so sometimes even when you're hitting the right notes, it sounds just kind of like not quite right. But it does make up for it, like I said, when the effects kick in and it's like, okay,
Like, what does
now
the tone knob do ananye? You're like, oh, I think I want a little bit less tone this time.
yeah.
It
Well,
makes you a little chubbier and gets rid of your six pack.
Mhm.
Basically, it's the musical equivalent of that, more or less. Actually, that I would say that's basically
Yeah.
correct. So that's the first thing, and I'm going to continue to play that. I don't know if I'll really talk about it anymore on this show, but the other thing, just really briefly, because I'm in a Ubisoft state of mind, I guess, is The Crew 2 has a free weekend going on. By the time you hear this on syndication, it's probably over. I'm just going to very briefly say. It has reminded me why I do not like all of these Ubisoft extreme sports, Red Bull, action packed,
Oh, yeah.
they're doing that thing again, just like in Steep, where it's like, oh, get your fans. Like they're going to watch you turn your plane
Yeah.
sideways and 5 people are going to tune into your live stream. Actually, we should do that. That would be a great idea for the Game Bytes Show.
When we did our joystick month, I had that game loaded up and I was ready to do flying races with the joystick.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool. Like it lets you do airplanes and it lets you do boats, and that's kind of fun and different. But it's all like, just picture, if you will, every Ubisoft game where some guy's like, "Oh, welcome to the island of cool. Like we're gonna, get you set up with your ride here. The
Welcome
fans are
to
gonna
the
love it."
Forza Festival.
Yeah, exactly. It's like
Welcome
it's
to
like
the
that
Dirt
again.
Rally Festival.
And
Mhm.
the Ubisoft music that they always pick, and it's always like, we're going to instantly transport you over to this section. You're going to do these, and then oh wow, now you're in a boat. And for some reason they have the Inception thing where the world folds in on itself, and now you're in a monster truck in Monument Valley or something like that.
Awesome.
It's fine. It's fine.
It's good.
just like
It's a good
all
game
those
if
other
you
games.
like little arcadey racing games.
I have not felt as tired as when it's like, now you can customize your ride. I'm like, no, I don't want to customize
Give me the
anything. I don't want to
guitar again.
customize my drive-atar. I don't want to put wings on my wings. I'm just so
I
tired.
customized an airplane and I took a picture with like a deer or something. It's like you go into
Yeah.
camera mode, take a picture, and you get like an Achievo.
The other thing too is that in every game where I can go to Salt Lake City, Utah, I'll do that, and I look around and I'm like, so this is what you think it's like here. This is it's like, oh, the exit to Glacier National Monument is just right outside the town, and
Duh.
Monument Valley somehow is in like actually like Oklahoma somewhere. It's
2
like in the
minutes drive away.
middle America. Yeah. So I did that. It's like one of those dreams that you have where it kind of mixes up in your mind, like the place you lived when you were a kid, and then the place you
Yeah.
live now, and the neighborhood is like a weird melding of the two.
Mhm.
Florida is like this weird chubby little dong on the end of the country or something like that. Like
Like it
everything's just kind
should
of weird.
be.
Like
Accurate.
it should be. Anyway, so that was the other thing I did was Crew 2 free weekend. Don't bother, I guess is my verdict on the Crew 2.
Well,
Unless
I have something that you may or may not wish to bother with.
okay.
So, friend of the show, listener, is it Putnik Santiago? Is that how you pronounce
Yeah,
it?
that's right.
Putnik?
Yeah, that's right. They're in
Okay.
Portugal.
Um, well, yeah. So he let me know
Or not Portugal.
that he was.
He's in Czech Republic, I think.
Czech Republic. That's right.
Yeah. I was just
Okay,
talking
yeah,
about
he
him
said-
today with someone else.
Then it is.
Huh,
Okay.
weird.
Popular guy.
Interesting. So anyway, he let me know that, he posted in the Discord, like what's your plan, that he was joining an expedition in Elite Dangerous. Which an expedition is like a thing where a bunch of people sort of agree to all fly to a certain place within the galaxy, and then there's like a bunch of waypoints, and you fly from place to place to place, and it's all in the name of celebrating something or other. This time, it's to celebrate I guess it's what is it? Probably the 50th anniversary of the Apollo 15 mission. I can actually look up what it is here, but
So if I understand, you're flying in tandem in the middle of nowhere for hours just together as bros.
yeah, except that I'm like just following the route, but I'm just playing like I'm not like with anybody. I'm just
So
doing the route on my
you're
own.
So
doing the
this is
virtual
like an
5K.
on my own
official
time.
thing that the game does? Like there's
No, it's not official. It's
Just players?
fan organized. Yeah. So
Okay.
there's this website for people that play a lot of
nerds.
Elite are probably into, this is a very, very good third party fan created website called the Elite Dangerous Star Map, where they actually do a lot of tracking of like who's visited where in the galaxy and positions of various interesting worlds and stuff like that. Well, yeah, there are these people that organize these expeditions, and so the one that he and I are joining in with, and he may be joining it to a more of an extent than I am. I'm basically like I signed up on the website to be a part of the list of commanders who's joining the thing, but like I think there is a certain private server where they're all like actually gathering and doing this stuff. Um, I'm not doing that. I'm just playing in the normal server.
It's like the Brigadoon of insufferable space nerds.
Something like that. But the way that I understand the server sharding in this game is that like it's one persistent galaxy across all instances, and so like even things that you do in solo mode will affect the online version of the galaxy. And things being like commodities trading and stuff like that. So it's like a modest effect on the economy and stuff. It's not like huge stuff. Like and this is not a game where you're going around and like killing NPCs and stuff like that. I mean you can do that, but it's not like you're not going to go rock up into a tavern and kill everybody in the tavern or whatever. It's not
Right.
it's not one of those games, right? So it's basically just you fly out to a certain world or a certain star system that was around probably 500 or maybe up about 1,000 light years away from kind of like the main settled area of space. And so depending on your ship and your loadout, like how soon you can get there, it determines how soon you can get there. Because if you have one of those ships that only jumps like 7 or 10 light years at a time, it's going to take you a while, right? So I have a ship that jumps close to 50 light years at a time, which is kind of at the high end for exploration, because you want one if you're exploring the galaxy.
Yeah, you don't want to pass all the stuff by.
Well, the galaxy is 80,000 light years in length or something like that. So like if you're wanting to go from one end to the other, you want to go as far as you can in a single jump, right? Because each jump will take you 30 seconds to a minute to do in game time, right? Just kind of depends on how much you mess around and how much fuel scooping you got to do and all this other stuff. But anyway, these guys, in order to separate the Apollo 15 missions, right? They decided to do this expedition, and they've got about 500 people that have signed up to do this.
Wow.
Along with them, and it's taking place from what was it, July 10th to I just think the 30th. Where was it here? No, until August 1st. Okay. And basically there are these waypoints. There are these 8 waypoints um, around sort of the middle part of the galaxy, kind of like in between the Sol system and like the core of the galaxy, right? And the first place it starts is a system called T Tauri, and then it goes about 2,300 light years to a system called Blue Thua WI-B D15, also known as Nimbostratus, because there's a cool nebula there that you can kind of go and see. The third waypoint, which I went to earlier yesterday, is this place called the Autumn. It's in this nebula called the Autumn Nebula, which is really beautiful. And when you fly up to it, the last like the waypoint star for that leg of the whole thing is this like oh, what do they call those? It's not a pulsar. It's like a dwarf star with like these two bright, like it's like a blue star with these two jets coming off of it. That's like really cool looking. There's a name for it. I'm not thinking of it right now. But yeah, so I just decided over the last couple of days that I would join in on this whole thing and do a bunch of like traveling across the galaxy in Elite again, because that's one of my favorite things to do.
So is that a specific commitment? Like, are you?
It's
I
mean, I guess you could say it's a
obligated?
commitment. It's just it's an activity that you sort of like, sign on to on the little website here, and then it tracks how far you go. I guess I should let everybody know this. So you can link this third-party fan-made website to your actual progress that you make in the actual Elite game, but the mechanism for doing that is kind of interesting. So at some point or other, the developers at Frontier decided or recognized that people wanted to have some of that like metadata that goes along with their like save file and use it for these sorts of interesting um, third-party websites, so like an API or something almost.
Yeah.
But the way it works is that every time you play the game and log out, your session is recorded in a thing called a journal file. And then so what you do is you just grab that journal file out of the folders on your system, and then you take it over to this website, and you just there's a little place there where you drop the file and it imports it in, and then it also records it to your player profile that's set up on the website already, right? And thusly, it will actually record all your like progress. It'll show you a 3D model of your progress as you're flying around the galaxy, but it'll also keep track of things like how many worlds you've ever been to, how many like Earth like worlds you've discovered, how many how many times have you mined an asteroid, whatever, right? Like how many bounties have you turned in from private, in your privateer missions and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
How many tourists have you taken to see a black hole and then back to the space station, stuff like that. Yeah, so
How many tours did you take to the black hole and not bring
And leave them there.
so all these players, all these like 500 players that have signed up for this expedition are presumably, making the progress in the game and then uploading their journal files here. And so if I look at the list of participants, right, I can see that the number one participant is the guy, I guess, who organized the whole thing, called Yannick. And he's 12.11% through the entire thing at this point.
That's
and if I
great.
scroll down all the way to, in fact, I have to go to the second page. It's 500, people on one page. If I go to the second page, there are 548 people signed up for this. I am number 504. And I am 25.62% through the thing right now.
Wow.
So that means that I've made it to the I'm in between the third and the fourth of 8 waypoints, basically. But yeah, so it's cool. Basically, the way that I've always explored in Elite was like just pick a random direction on the galaxy map and just like, oh, what's out there?
Kind of gives you some direction.
Let's spend 2 weeks of sessions, traveling out there.
The reason I asked if they were like official or whatever is No Man's Sky does something similar. They've had 2 expeditions so far, and they're just like little, fairly easy to do missions, but it's in their limited time. These are official, I guess, like mode that you play. You start fresh, you do the expedition, you do the different missions, and it's really cool because it gives you just enough focus to kind of
Yeah.
point you in a direction. You do it kind of at your own pace and in your own way, but the whole community's doing it, so you're running into other people more consistently and stuff, and then you
Yeah.
get the Mass Effect spaceship, which is cool.
Yeah, I think this is. I mean, it's the idea is kind of the same thing. For for at least several years now, there have been people that have been doing these expeditions in Elite, and you may have even read from time to time like a headline that would pop up on a game story about like the Distant Worlds expedition, where they would fly all the way out to the other side of the galaxy, and stuff like that. This one is fairly tame in comparison to those. It only covers like a pretty small slice of the
More
galaxy.
achievable.
But yeah, it's definitely more achievable. But at the same time, it's also like from start to finish, it's about 20,000 light years of travel, which do the math. If I'm jumping 47 light years at a time, 20,000 light years, how many jumps is that? That's quite a bit, right?
400.
But so anyway, yeah, just it's cool to kind
425
of
and
have
a
that.
half.
It's cool to kind of have a goal and a bunch of like milestones to sort of like try to achieve at doing this, because it's also taken me to places that I haven't been yet. Like as much as I've played this game, most of what I've explored has been like in the region of like the Sol system south in galactic terms, to like the to the edge of the galaxy, but like the edge of the galaxy nearest to home, and not like not across the core to the far edge, right? But this is kind of going in more toward the core. So after like this expedition is finished, maybe what I'll do is like actually go and visit the core and go see like the Sagittarius A star, like the actual black hole that's in the middle of the galaxy, and then maybe even go out to the other end or something. But anyway, I did in like kind of like consulting the galactic map a bunch of times. Um, I wanted to do a little bit of a mini game here on the podcast, because
Dude.
the one thing that's kind of cool about the galactic map in Elite is that they've I don't think these are actual, maybe they are, maybe these are actually like scientifically endorsed names for like the regions of the galaxy, but I'm thinking not. I'm thinking they're probably just made up by the well, they're actually in the game, so I don't know if Frontier made these up, or hell, maybe they are actually scientifically created. I don't know. Anyway, but there's all these regions of the galaxy, right? So like where the sort of like main bubble of civilization is, I believe it's in the place called Inner Orion Spur, right? And that's just one kind of like little wedge of the galaxy. So there's a bunch of these, and I'm gonna pick a few of these, and I want you guys to tell me: is it like toward the galactic core, or is it like is it like on the rim, or is it like somewhere in the middle, right?
Okay.
Just judging by the name, right?
Okay.
All right, let's do it.
So we'll start off with an easy one.
Core.
Inner Scutum Centaurus arm.
Core.
No, it's
Yeah,
out. It's on an arm.
It's the inner Scutum Centaurus
I'd say
arm.
it's like an early discovered core area.
It's fairly toward the core.
fairly
right?
core. Okay. All right. All right.
So here's another one. Riker's
28 rotten
Hope.
tomatoes.
Riker's Hope.
Riker's Hope.
I'm gonna say middle.
That's actually fairly. It's neighboring the actual zone that's called Galactic Center. So it's
Oh, wow,
pretty
okay.
core, right?
Okay.
Okay.
Nice. It's 2 for 2.
Let's go. Let's go. Here we go. Sagittarius Carina arm.
Core.
I'll say that's outer.
Outside, yeah.
Yeah, that's like on the it's like second from the rim.
Sagittarius is
that
an
side.
archer, so it's far away. It's
Yeah,
north.
makes sense. Makes sense.
In Sagittarius, when you see it, you look at the Milky Way at the same time.
How about
So I thought it'd be core.
the conduit?
That's middle because it goes from the core to the outer.
You're right. Yeah, the conduit is pretty much in the middle.
All right.
Here's one. let's see. This one ought to be pretty obvious.
Core.
The Abyss.
Oh, that's out. That's
outer.
That's- Yeah, yeah. The Abyss is actually the like far side of the galaxy.
I thought it was the
on
black
the other
hole,
side of the core.
center
from
of the galaxy.
I mean, anything is
like
the
the
core
core.
from a relative position, but I'm gonna say out.
Odin's Hold.
Legrand's just guessing core on
Which
everything. I'm gonna
which
say,
Space Marine branch lives in Odin's Hold?
Odin's Hole.
Odin's Hold. Let's see. Odin's Hold would probably be
It's in the
pretty close
armpit.
to where the white scars are.
yeah, I'm gonna say
probably.
it's in the middle.
Yeah, Odin's Hold is in the middle. Here's one that might be a little bit tricky. Who knows?
Core.
The Errant Marches.
The what?
Errant Marches.
Errant?
The edge, outer.
Yeah, it sounds outer because it's errant. It's like
Okay, yeah. That is the outer. And finally, no, not finally, because there's one more I want to do here. Tenebrae.
that's gonna be outer because
That's
the-
in Pagan.
up-
Ultima.
That is that's the city in Pagan and Ultimate
Tenebrae.
8. Yeah.
Doesn't that just mean darkness in
I
Latin?
mean, yeah, it does. It means like shadow,
Yeah.
shadowy, dark.
The Mare Somnia.
Ooh, sleepy
Core.
sea. I'm gonna say that's also outer.
outer.
That is also outer.
Yeah.
Dang it.
I
Acheron.
think I've won. Oh wait, there's one more.
Acheron.
Core.
Acheron. Yeah, I'll go with the core on that one.
No, that's on the outer
Yeah,
rim. also.
Outer. Outer. That
Okay,
one.
Yeah.
okay,
Oh,
last one.
I lost my sound.
Yeah.
Is it outer?
Yeah.
It was outer.
Got it. Nailed.
Last one here.
First
Just
try.
because I think it's a weird name that I kind of like. It's Zibalba.
Zibalba. It's probably like German for not in the
It starts-
core.
starts
So
with an
outer.
X.
Middle.
Wajuju Sabulba.
Balba.
Middle.
Zibalba.
middle.
Core. Going core.
That's an
Straight
outer
up.
rim galaxy. That's
Oh,
actually
all
one
right.
of the-
Got it.
Guys, honestly, we just had to each pick one and go with it the
And
whole
we'd have
time.
gotten
We
it
would have
every
been right
time.
the whole time. Yeah.
Very
Dang
good.
it.
I think-
Well, that's hey.
I picked the same one every time.
just-
You guys
just
were
wait
just not
until-
on top of that.
Just wait until next week's show when I tell you what I've been doing. I've been guessing the relative positions of things in.
Been memorizing. So next time we
Really
play this mini
dangerous.
game, you're gonna ace
I'm
it.
gonna-
Right?
Yeah.
nail it.
Memorizing every galaxy.
I once tried to go to Zibalba because it's neighboring onto Kepler's Crest, and I've been to Kepler's Crest. That's pretty far out there. I couldn't find a way to get through it because I think it was just like all the stars were too far apart. Like I couldn't jump from one to another.
Hmm.
Either that, or I decided I wanted to turn back and go a different way or something.
I could relate to that.
Ran
Yeah.
out of space granola.
That's right.
Yeah, I had to head back. Sell that exploration data for fat loot.
Well, speaking of player-driven events, so what I've been playing a lot of this past week was, of course, Ultima Online Outlands.
right.
On Friday, I hosted a player-run medieval tournament with duels and jousting and an archery competition.
Many
Um,
huzzahs.
So many
The mountain
huzzahs.
rides.
And I even made a script for there's no like archery targets you can actually shoot, so I just have a character that people shoot and we
Right.
record the damage. That's how we do it. So this time around, I took it a step further, and he holds a shield that has like the circles on it, so it looks like an archery target. So it looks like he's just holding the target,
Aw.
and you're just kind of accidentally hitting him. But I built a script in the game so that whenever you hit him, he yells like a random phrase like "ouch" or "oof" or something like that, and then tells you the damage. So it was a lot of fun.
It's cute. I attended this again, and I got to say, Jared does with the limitations of the framework
Yeah,
of Ultima
yeah.
Online. He puts on a pretty
You,
cute.
you got to
little-
use your imagination a little bit, but we try to have fun,
I'm
and
out.
we learned a
Did
lot
Lord
about
British show up?
Do what?
Did Lord British show up?
No, but one of the players in the alliance, Wiggles is his name, has a character specifically designed to allow you to use a disguise kit, or allow him to use the disguise kit to look like any other character in the game. So he disguised himself to look like the regent of Andaria, the town we were hosting the the tournament, and he made the opening speech.
Aw.
It's so
Wow.
good. I'm like, how fun is that? It's so silly. My favorite part about that, he's kind of like a politician, and when you go to get the skills you need, it's kind of like a roguish skill. to be able to use the disguise kit. You tend to lose karma, and karma controls the titles, like if you're good or the scoundrel or something like that. So
How
he
the
was the
guards react to you.
unsavory, and then the regent's
And then
name.
the
So I
guy's
was like,
name.
oh, that's perfect for a politician.
It was cute, and my favorite combatant, Dr. Wiz,
Dr. Wiz.
unfortunately did not
He
not
he he
come out on
he he
top.
did not win the duel. He did win the joust though. So yeah, our winners were. Let me go ahead and announce them from
Yeah,
the Knights
sure.
Guild.
Give him a shout out.
Sir Black won the 1v1 duel. It was a very valiant fight that took well over an hour.
Yeah, that armor's got to get nerfed.
Yeah, so we learned a few things about the way the game works in alliance battles. So we'll make some changes going forward and add some timers or something, because that can't stand. Those battles lasted way too long. The archery competition was won by Captain Owain. Owain Danwin.
Captain.
So good old Captain. Oh
Sounds
man, he was
introduction.
nailing huge hits. What's really funny about that is the night before the tournament, he was at the battle trainer in our guild hall, and he's like, I got to change all my skills so I can win. So apparently it worked. And then the joust was Dr. Wiz from CFC. The CFC.
I don't
one
think
of our
he's a
allies.
real doctor. I'm not sure he's a whiz either, but
I mean, I don't know. He won the joust,
not
so
be
I'm not going to
licensed.
ask. I'm not going to be like, hey.
Good thing there was no electric fence jousting. You know what I'm saying?
That's right. That's right.
Dr. Wiz on the electric fence.
But yeah,
Very
so
good.
that was a good time. And then I actually have been playing a new game. Well, kind of a new game. I've actually streamed it a while ago when it first came out. But I got back into Stronghold Warlords. So the Stronghold series, if you're not familiar with it, it came out in early 2000s.
The Jared game. Yeah,
It is a
basically know what you're getting
castle like
into now.
simulator type game, like a city builder style game, but you build castles and defenses and your economy all at the same time, and your army and all that. So it's one of my favorite series of all time. I love all of those games. And this latest one is kind of neat because they go to the Far East, which they've never done before. And they kind of mix up different civilizations. And one of the things that I remember playing Age of Empires 2 for this same reason, they'd had these campaigns really kind of loosely based on history. Like there'd be like a Frederick Barbarossa campaign and a El Cid and, all these things. And so you'd play through and it kind of tell the story of these like historic people. They have similar on this. So they have, of course there's a Genghis Khan one, and I'm not even going to attempt some of the names of like the Chinese like dynasties and stuff, but it kind of tells a little bit of a story as you play the game about some of these historic characters, which I just love. I don't know, I'm such a nerd, but it's kind of cool. I just finished the campaign about like feudal Vietnam, which is kind of cool. With
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of neat, right? And they just kind of mix up all
That's
the
what they're
units.
going in the next Assassin's Creed game.
That would
it's,
be that would be
Battlefield
sweet.
6.
That
Yeah,
would actually be cool.
that would be really cool. But anyway, it's kind of cool to play something new. I love the mechanics, and they're all still there. The little defenses and building towers and putting archers in the towers. You got to build bows so that you can make archers and all this good stuff. But yeah, so just really enjoy that game. Or that series, I guess. And Stronghold of Warlords, I've actually had a good time with. And it's kind of interesting. We're talking about games as a service, spoiler, but even this small company has kind of adopted it, and it's like the best games kind of do this, right? So they released it, and they're putting out new content, adding entire new features that weren't there before, that are kind of free for owners, right? Like a skirmish trail and different ways to play the game. So really cool to see, really enjoying it. I'll recommend the heck out of it. It is on GeForce now, and it runs great on it.
Nice.
So fire up your Chromebook and go play Stronghold Warlords.
I'm in.
Is the other game.
Incidentally, GeForce Now, how I decided to play The Crew 2. So I didn't have to install nothing.
Wow.
Nice,
Yeah, GeForce
nice.
Now.
You beat them. You beat the
I
system,
did.
Jeremy.
That's right.
Congratulations.
But they still made me play their game. So I
Dude,
had
it
to
was
actually-
good, man.
I
Did
can't even
you
claim
get
the
your
moral
crew
victory.
score up? Did you get your fans? Are they cheering for you? Did you do your
I found out that
alley-oop?
anytime I tell you what, anytime I got stuck on geometry, I lost all my fans. But then I would do a loop to loop, and I'd get like
They're all
100,
right back
200
with you,
fans
man.
back. Yeah, they're like, Yeah.
I figured out if you
fickle-
just
a fickle group.
fly your plane upside down real close to the ground, they love that. So you could just like
Forever.
set it and leave it and be like, dude, look at
Live
all my
streaming,
fans.
8 hours, inverted, close to the ground. Biggest
Just go on a
event in
polar
the whole
loop,
world.
you know, just you're not even hitting
right.
land. You're just all right.
That's right.
All right. So the other thing is new releases. That was an awkward transition. Just phase that out. Add like a bloop, bloop, bloop or something. New releases would you get from tech-gaming.com. Well, it's kind of weird because like I talk and then new releases. Tech-gaming.com. There's not a lot. We noted Sniper Elite VR is out. Cool.
That's pretty good. You know what? Honestly, this would probably be the way that I would play Sniper Elite because I just never found the testicle explosions to be compelling enough a case. You know, the X-ray testicles that they would do.
There
Game's
are.
actually a pretty good game.
I was
Sniper
gonna
Elite games are
say
pretty
there's a
cool.
lot of those Sniper Elite games. Are they good? Like, do
There
people
are.
snatch those up, or they keep
I
making
played
them?
the first one.
I think they're generally. I played
like
one
they're
of
well
them.
received.
I liked it. I mean, there's an actual. It's not like they. It's an actual like a first-person shooter with a narrative and
Like
like,
a
a
game.
mission
Yeah,
that you
yeah,
actually go on. Like it's not just post up and shoot dudes. Like there's a thing going on, and there's actually not all sniping even. Like there's some close quarters combat and stuff like that. But yeah, I think they're pretty well done for what I've played of them.
Cool.
If I could learn how to like really snipe with like a move controller or something, and like learn how the bullet drops over a certain yardage or whatever, like I actually think I would try this. But other than that, Sniper Elite interests me not a bit. Unfortunately.
Oh, I'm sure that's what it's all about. Is there just a narrative around that? I mean,
Yeah.
Anyway.
All right. The other release we noted here out on the Switch and PC is Monster Hunter Stories 2: Wings of Ruin.
Nice. I've heard it's real good. Maybe the opportunity to get back into Monster Hunter for those of us who have lapsed.
Who haven't?
I will say Robert Desert Eagle Allen gave me a little bit of a twist. He was on Twitter talking about Heart of the Woods, which is one of the releases on PlayStation 4. And he's like, "Oh, the storytelling path, you know." And I played it through a second time, and I found out all the stuff that I missed. And I was like, "Oh, what is this thing?" I looked it up, and it's a Japanese visual novel. You got me, Robert.
He got you.
Of course.
Hateful
Of course it's-
Boyfriend is coming up next. RadSwitchGameTitles.com. I don't know, guys. What shopping mall parking lot?
I'm sorry, it was on the list. I mean,
What do you what?
I didn't actually look it up, but
The thing is, there's not even a verb. You know, like is it like a you know, shopping mall parking lot crush, shopping mall parking lot.
It's a
crash?
match 3 game, guaranteed.
I
I
know.
will read you the top the subtitle here. Not subtitle, but on the Nintendo Switch store.
The
This is,
blurb.
by the way, a $9 game right now. It's on sale.
Ooh.
So get it
Wow,
while it's
how?
hot. Drive a large, varied selection of awesome cars around an authentic-looking shopping mall environment. Show your driving and parking skills. Avoid real traffic. That is your game.
Avoid real traffic.
Oh yeah.
I love driving games where the goal is to avoid traffic. I
Yep.
love it. Love it.
All
That's it.
right. Great. I have nothing. I don't know. I guess there's new Epic games. Go check them out.
Yeah, nothing major going on right now, I don't think.
No.
Except
No
for
deals.
shopping mall parking lot is on
Shopping
sale.
mall parking lot on sale now on the
$9.
Switch eStore. Go get it. $9.
A steal at twice the price.
Avoid that
traffic.
real traffic.
That's right. That's right. Well, the news. We do have some newsy news, and there's actually some big news. Something that has been discussed many a moon on the Game Bytes Show podcast. The next iteration of the Nintendo Switch. Of course, Nintendo didn't have to bother. The Super Switch is mounted to my headboard and still doing all right. But Nintendo announced the Nintendo Switch OLED model, which appears to be the
What?
official name. That's how they tweet it. That's how it shows up on their
That's
website.
a really bad name.
It's a really bad
dumb.
name. Nintendo Switch
dumb.
OLED model. And it is a 7-inch screen, which I'm pretty sure is the same,
same,
size
right?
as the screen that they've got now. It is an OLED screen. So I'm going to tell everybody, just go pull out your PlayStation Vita, which has a beautiful OLED screen circa
So-
2012.
Are they replacing the Switch with this, or this is going to run a separate model? Is it more? What are they doing? Nintendo is so bad at being so good. What is going on?
Listen, I will say this. It has a wider kickstand.
No,
Ooh.
that's
Oh, yeah.
dumb.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
I believe
Oh,
it,
yeah.
but it's dumb.
It is super dumb. I don't know. Here's the thing. This presupposes, and I guess Nintendo has the data on this, that people are playing it mostly in handheld mode because this will not be a benefit to you if you use it on the dock because it'll go through your TV,
It's
which does
true.
not have an OLED
Well, it might.
display. I mean,
That's
it
true.
could, I suppose. But it will launch in 2 color options. It'll come in a white or in a black. Or sorry, it's a white set, which I'm not sure what that means. A Nintendo Switch OLED model. I hate reading this. Nintendo Switch OLED model white set, which features white Joy-Con controllers, a black main unit, and a white dock. So it's sort of a two-tone thing. Or a neon red, neon blue set, which I guess is the same colors, I guess vaguely as the original release, I suppose, except this is OLED model. So anyhow, when will this release? October 8th. So if you are really jonesing for the Nintendo Switch OLED model, October is your time. Don't buy any Switches until then. And then when that does come out, buy the Nintendo Switch OLED model. Pretty underwhelming. I think
I've heard it
are
looks great, but I'm like, I just don't get it.
yeah, I think the discourse, the public discourse on this is either this is really terrible, what's Nintendo doing? There's no hype here. And then there's other people who are like, this is awesome, Nintendo is great. Did you see the new Smash character? I believe
guess
that's
it.
basically the
I guess it
discourse.
just boils down to I think I and everyone else expected more, and so when there isn't, it's like it's like
Yeah.
okay, whatever.
I would have at least liked maybe a different name. Like maybe instead of even
It's
just
terrible.
launching it as a new model, just be like, okay, this is a new, a new SKU of the same. I
It's
don't know.
only
It doesn't-
underwhelming because it's not more powerful. Like that's what people want.
Yeah, you know
I
what
don't
I mean?
care about the screen as much as the power of the console itself.
I
Like
don't
make
typically.
Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild run at a solid 60 frames per second. That would be way cool. Like if it could do that.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah. Or add something, or I don't know.
That's what it needed. It needed that.
it
It
needed
needed
a
a new
thing.
screen, especially for a game that's made to be played on a TV, like a console that's made for a TV and handheld. Honestly, it is also handheld, but there's a lot of people that don't play it handheld. They just put it on their TV and they play with a Pro controller, and that's it. And this thing does nothing for those people. So
Yeah,
why
just
even?
Put a
So those
graphics
people
card in the
basically are
dock,
not
and
going to
then
buy this unless they're Super Nintendo fanboys and apologists. Like those are the people that are
yeah.
going to buy this. But
it's true. It's true.
Or
I
if you
guess
don't
if
have
it was in
one
the
and you're
market for
like, hey, I
another
want to get a Switch
Switch,
now. Maybe you get the
I
OLED.
wouldn't get this though. I'd get a Switch Lite before I'd get this. Like
I have a Switch
two-
Lite.
$150 difference between a Switch Lite and this thing does not make me want to buy this thing.
So this is 50 more than a Switch. So it's 200 for a
Yeah.
Lite, 300 for a Switch, and 350 for the OLED.
Correct. We're not
Oh,
changing
okay.
the
I thought it was
price
the
of the
same
original
price.
Switch either. No, it's 350.
Womp womp.
So they now have 3
No.
SKUs that they're officially supporting. Like they're not doing away with the regular Switch. They're
Yeah.
doing nothing. They're leaving it
And-
there. This is just a $50
Grant, like you
more
were
version.
saying, or Jeremy, maybe, but I almost always play the Switch on the TV. So
Yeah.
My
Yeah,
kids
for me,
almost
it's
play
not.
always on the TV. I play handheld because I have a Lite. So
I always
mean,
played
that-
handheld as well.
That's the thing
but
too, is if you have like a friend or a sibling that you're going to play with, you're going to play that on the TV. So
yeah,
this
Mhm.
is just for lonely people with bad eyes who need the brighter screen, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, so
well,
that's,
I mean, and OLED's pretty cool tech. Like you can play
It
it
is cool
outside
tech.
better. You can do, it is better. I mean, the
but one
screen,
thing
of course, is
that-
going to look better.
OLED doesn't look better when you play like low power. Like if you go flip on, a crappy Netflix video on or YouTube video on an OLED screen, it doesn't look better. It just looks
No, it'll look better because it's an OLED. It's a different type
Yeah.
of screen. It's not HDR. Like that's not what we're
Yeah.
talking about here. The
No,
screen
I know,
technology itself is
it's
better.
like
It's not
brightness,
right.
basically.
Well, what OLED does is makes it so that on a regular LCD screen,
Black's
like
gonna be black.
when you're looking at the pixels, like even if you're looking at black, there's still a pixel that is on in the background with an LED that's just showing you black. With an OLED display, the blacks
Oh.
are because the pixels are completely turned off. Like that is the difference between OLED and regular LED.
Yeah, and that's all right.
And it's fine. I mean, like I said, the screen is fine, but and the reason why people are
Not for
mad is not because
$50
the screen is not a better screen. They're mad because it's not an upgrade to what they currently have. Aside from that,
OLED,
which is
more
not
like
much of an upgrade.
old news.
Right.
Here's some new news. Sony did a State of Play event this past week, and they showed off stuff that is mostly things that we've seen before and known about. But because we have covered E3 previously, we're going to run through really quickly the stuff that was shown off at the State of Play. Sony had announced in advance that the main event for this was going to be some footage and some information about Deathloop, which is is this a Bethesda? I believe this is a Bethesda thing.
It's the guys that did Dishonored.
Arcane, right?
Dishonored,
Yeah.
Arcane. That's right. That's exactly right. Which is a hunter hunted Groundhog Day kind of thing. Still looks all right. I'm still not getting too hot or bothered about it, but they did show stuff, and I believe that it is.
I was
going
hotter the first time they showed the first teaser. I was pretty hot on it, and now I'm not on it. So
Yeah. Moss, the little VR game about the cute mouse, is getting a sequel. Moss Book 2 is in development. Arcadegeddon is a multiplayer shooter that is actually going to be coming out in early access this coming week on PlayStation 5. It allows you to play solo with up to 3 friends, exploring biomes, minigames, hidden chests. It seems like a vaguely sort of Fortnite social experiment kind of thing. Defeat enemy types and boss levels. It's not a battle royale. It's just, I guess, sort of an exploratory shooter. Hunter's Arena Legends, which I did play. I can't remember if I talked about it on this show, but it's sort of a battle royale based on sort of Chinese mythology and demonology. And it's all like melee based. Kind of has a little bit of a
you play the beta or something? How did you play it?
it
It's
was
not
it
out
was
yet.
they had like a free weekend
Oh,
for like 2 days at one point, and it's definitely something that comes from China somewhere. I mean, it is a Chinese company that is, mining their cultural heritage, I guess, to make a battle royale game. But it vaguely has a kind of a, I don't know, samurai warriors kind of vibe, except it's just one person, I guess, and you go and find monsters standing around, those kinds of things. So that is actually also going to be coming to PlayStation Plus next month on both PS4 and PS5.
it's
Jet
cool.
with 2 T's, The Far Shore is a new game from the creators of Super Brothers Sword and Sorcery. You fly an airplane, which is actually called a jet with 2 T's, and kind of explore interesting looking places in the jet, I guess, with 2 T's. Lost Judgment, which is the sequel to the Yakuza spinoff Judgment, which is the one Legrand had played just recently. No, I'm sorry. That was something different,
I
wasn't it?
played Like a Dragon.
Like a Dragon. That's right. That's right. So this is actually getting a sequel, I think, later this year on September 24th. So they showed some of that. Death Stranding Director's Cut, which I think up to this point had only been announced for PC, I want to say.
No, it was a PS5 release was going to be the director's cut.
Oh, okay. So they did
This
show
was
the
them
Death
actually just
Stranding.
talking more about it,
Okay,
right?
so they did show it. The game is going to come to PS5, the PS5 native version of Death Stranding, which I'm sure is going to look awesome. So as much as you want to walk around and put ladders up against
You
rocks,
mispronounced weird.
yeah,
It's
weird.
gonna look
Yeah,
weird.
it's going to look plenty weird. Little babies and rain that ages you impossibly as it touches you. And I think that's
Do I
it.
wait? I mean, do I buy? I really want to play Death Stranding, and I bought it, and I haven't played it yet on PC. Do I buy it on PS5? What do I do?
I'd say keep yourself in a holding pattern, and in 4 or 5 years, you'll finally be ready. Is I
Okay,
think what's
got
going
it.
to happen.
I'm on
They'll
it.
still be releasing versions of it, so
Yeah,
just get the
exactly. It'll
latest
be
one
the
there.
ultimate directors. That's actually going to be the Hideo Kojima exclusive with Microsoft that we talked about last week. The promissory
5
agreement that they've
years.
got. It's going to be Death Stranding again. So the Death Strandinger. Here's one that I think is actually really interesting, and Jared alluded to this a little bit earlier in the show. It was leaked, and then Ubisoft announced, as a result of the leak, that the Assassin's Creed franchise is maybe steering away from actual named, titled, numbered installments, and is going to more of a games as a service idea with something called Assassin's Creed Infinity. It is going to conjoin many different eras. Many development studios are going to be working on this together. I don't know if it's necessarily going to be massively or partially multiplayer or exactly how that's going to work. It may just be the Assassin's Creed experience that you know and love, but with stuff building onto it on a weekly basis.
I don't think this is is a particular, application or anything. I think this is just like their idea. This is like the name for their, Assassin's Creed, we're developing games initiative going forward, because there's very
No.
little actual information on, is this a thing or
Yeah,
is
we
this
don't
Well,
know
a
much yet.
program?
Bloom is in this article on Kotaku. Bloomberg reported the next entry would be a live service game, and then Ubisoft confirmed the existence of a new, of that thing. So
Right. Right.
Okay.
So let me ask you guys this. So typically when we've had games as a live service, I mean, we're talking about things like Fortnite doing, bi-weekly updates. Here's a new character. Here's a crossover franchise. Assassin's Creed. I think I'm safe to say that we all are or have been fans of the series at some point. If you could have a straight up single player experience in Assassin's Creed, but you could take your character to hop across different times and areas to solve cellular memory puzzles that unwrap the secrets of the proto-humanoid civilization. Would this be something that you would be interested in? Is this a good direction for this franchise?
Assassin's Creed, but Hitman.
Right,
Um,
right.
That'd be kind of cool.
well, I think that the cool part of an Assassin's Creed game, and we'll talk about Assassin's Creed Origins, for example, is taking a point in history and a location and going deep and going hardcore realism, huge map, explore all the things. Meanwhile, you're also murdering dudes at the same time.
Right.
Straying away from that to make smaller bits of content, but maybe across lots of different, time periods and locations. Like, what I'm thinking is like the Animus is a perfect thing. Like, hey, like the storyline could be, hey, we have this new arcade, and you jack in and you play this level that's in ancient China, and here
Yep.
you are, now we're in ancient China, and I got this discrete level, and or whatever. I have this little map that I'm playing on. Like, for me personally, that's not what I go to an Assassin's Creed game for. Like, I go to get deep into, ancient Egypt, or get deep into Vikings, or get deep
True.
into
Yeah.
whatever, and have this experience where I am a Viking for 80 hours or whatever, and I haven't played.
Well,
the new
let me
one,
ask you
but-
this though. Like if you have something that like let's use and I realize you just kind of pretty well laid it out, but let's say you've got something like Destiny 2. Where I guess the idea would be that the world that you have, let's accept your proposal that maybe it's not as deep. Now, I'm not sure about that because again, they are marshaling all of their, various Ubisoft studios to work on this. So it's potentially there is still the possibility there that it could be each of those sections, let's say, could have as much attention paid to it, but that the world, even though the geometry or the geography might remain static, that there would be things happening to it. Maybe a new faction moves in one week or 1 month, and that's now they've taken over, and you've got to go into this realm. But oh my gosh, there's a clue to the secret of
All
this
right.
in whatever.
Let's say, I mean, obviously I'm in a wait and see mode for this type of thing.
No,
right?
yeah,
and,
sure,
and
sure.
what you're saying sounds fine, by itself.
Yeah.
Replacing what has been Assassin's Creed from the beginning for what I go to an Assassin's Creed game for with that is not something that I would look forward to. I really like the catered. Here's a single player, story of good or bad for whatever it is. But I mean, for example, Assassin's Creed Unity was kind of sucked as a game in general, but running around Paris was amazing. Like that shit
really
was
cool.
what I played that game for. It wasn't necessarily because the story was amazing. The combat kind of sucked in that game, but they did some cool stuff with Paris and going to the Louvre, and here I am at Notre Dame, and this is cool. Like that felt cool. And replacing that type of experience with this, now this, I don't give a shit about the faction. I don't care about the syndicate. I don't care about, the weird side story of murdering these guys as much as now I'm going over to the place where the pyramids of Giza are. Like, hell yeah, I can't wait to get over there and explore that pyramid and climb that pyramid and look at this. And that was more what kind of drove me forward on those types of games once they got later on. Like the first games, it was all novel. Playing Assassin's Creed was cool because murdering dudes is awesome, right? Like,
Yeah,
hell
stabbing
yeah.
someone in
We
the
all
face
want to be
from
a
a two-story
status.
building.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
But later on, as the games, as the formula kind of tired out, right, a little bit.
Right.
Hey, now I'm in the Revolutionary War area. Like that was cool, just being in that era, living that history, for 40 plus hours or 50
Now
hours.
I'm
right? Like
a boat
that's-
captain.
Yeah, exactly. And so I just, the pirate stuff, like all this stuff. But having that be, hey, now we have this, and it's kind of not as good because we haven't spent 2 years working on it with a team of 400 people.
Mhm.
It's going to be okay because we have 100 people working on this, 100 people working on that, 100 people working on that. And I don't know. Like
On the other hand, that means
I
that you
passed
can
on
adapt.
Valhalla. I passed on Valhalla because I'm not really into Vikings. Cool. The next one comes out and it's into something that I'm into. Like now maybe we're in, Brazil or something different and unique that I'm into. Like, I'll pick up an Assassin's Creed game for it, but something like this where it's just maybe a little bit watered down version of that is not as enticing to me, and I wouldn't want it to replace what I have come to enjoy from an Assassin's Creed game.
So
That's all I'm
real
saying.
quick, the substance of the blog post by Ubisoft is acknowledging that there is a early in development project codenamed Assassin's Creed Infinity. And I guess we're probably to assume that it will be some sort of live game experience. But then pretty much the rest of the blog post is just them kind of talking about like their new approach to how they're going to develop these games, which is to basically make use of the teams kind of all at once working remote and whatnot, as opposed to like having this studio does this game,
Yeah.
and while this studio does the other game that's a year behind the other one, right? Where they're basically kind of just talking about how it's almost like a company reorg sort of situation. There's very little at all about like what the Infinity game might be. I guess Bloomberg, you said that they're wanting to make it a live experience, and I say that's kind of like, well, yeah, I mean, look at modern video games, right? Of
Yeah.
course they're going to do
Well,
that.
sure, of
Yeah,
course they
yeah.
do. I'm not saying, but I'm just
Yeah.
saying that's not what I want out of
Yeah,
that
no,
game.
me neither. But the other thing is that like, who's that sales guru or whatever that said that like nobody knows what they want until you show it to them, right? Like
Right.
I think we're waiting on someone to kind of crack that perfect sort of game that kind of walks the line between the like bespoke designed missions thing and the like what do they call it, emergent gameplay from like an open world sort of thing.
Yeah.
And Assassin's Creed has always been sort of more toward the like the former, where it's like it's a pretty static world, but it's like they've filled it full of cool stuff to explore and do and everything, but you don't get that emergent stuff very much at all, right?
Right.
And so maybe they'll provide something that does kind of do that. I mean, up until now, like the last several games, they've definitely had it where your game was connecting on the back end to like some Ubisoft meta experience or whatever. And sometimes you would even see in the game, like I was playing Origins the other day, and you can go to these places in Origins where like another player of the game died, and you can like avenge that player's death by killing the alligator or whatever that killed him, right? Those alligators are no joke.
Wretched alligator.
Oh, those hippos too. But yeah, I mean, so that stuff's already in there, right? And it's been in there for a long time. They've already had Assassin's Creed multiplayer way back with what was it?
Brotherhood.
Or
was it 2 that
Brotherhood?
added it?
Or it was maybe Revelation? Yeah, maybe, I don't know. It was one of those early
One of
ones that
those,
added
yeah.
the
It was
multiplayer.
Brotherhood that added multiplayer. That was
And
amazing,
that was pretty
by the way.
cool. Yeah, that was fun. So
I guess here's what I'm thinking. If you look at games like Destiny 2 or games like Fortnite, the advantage or the draw of doing it is not just that, hey, we're going to make little things, but that it keeps people engaged. I mean, would Fortnite,
Yeah.
if you were waiting on Fortnite 2, in the meantime, would Fortnite 1 still retain its popularity?
Right.
Destiny 2 is still, I mean, they're doing it a little less frequently than Epic is with Fortnite, but they're doing seasons every
That's a good point. Keeping it
3 months.
engaged.
And if you have everybody like, oh my gosh, everybody, the Templars are doing this month, we got to stop them. And now if you go to
Not the Templars.
if you go exactly, if you go to the old city in Paris, there are rumors that something and you go and there's like a new assassination mission. You've got all kinds of scripted stuff, maybe even voiced events. I mean, they're putting.
Maybe.
It seems like then if you roll that along all the
Okay.
time, then
What
you've got lots of games.
if they take all the Assassin's Creed game locations, put them in one world, and you have to gather fans as you assassinate people?
Do a cool flip and you get fans.
That's
I know
right.
you're
If you
gonna-
just
I
hover
believe it.
over the ground upside
Rate
down,
my dive into this hay cart.
20
Well,
fans.
let me explain to you why that doesn't work. Because for the Animus to work, you have to have the genetic
Goddamn it,
memories
Dale.
of all the people.
We're
that came
moving on.
before.
They've done that. Anyway, that's basically all the news. And like Dale says, we don't really know. It's pretty vague at this point, so we'll kind of have to wait and see. But we can conceivably take some pretty good guesses at what they might have in mind. But like Dale says, part of it is just the fact that they're marshaling their development studios in a different way than they have before. So it could also be something totally
sounds
different,
like the
but,
one thing we do know for certain: more Assassin's Creed games coming.
that's
Eventually.
true.
Yeah.
That is
But
true.
but they did say also that they're doing a second year of support for Valhalla.
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 more
that's right.
DLC, right?
Do we need to play Vol? None of us have played it.
I
it's 20
have
bucks,
Did I play it?
I've played quite a bit of it.
Oh,
I
really?
decided that
It's
I
also
would
on
go back
GeForce now.
and play more Origins, so I
I
might
need to play.
I might make it.
I really like
eventually.
Origins a lot. I really like Origins. should
I've
get in
listened
there and
to
finish
the
that.
to the vinyl soundtrack of all of the Norwegian chanting poetry, the epic poetry. Yeah, they released a whole album of that stuff. Ugh. Anyway, guys, that's all the news that we've got for now.
That's how
But
Jeremy
we've got
plays
here,
Assassin's
and I'm
Creed.
gonna try and rebrand this. I don't know if you guys like this. Do you like it? What we call the news speed run? Is that something we want to try and latch into, or would we like lightning round
percent.
better? Yeah, exactly.
Any percent.
Speedrun sounds good. I like that. Let's try that out for today. We'll see.
any percent speed run of your news. Start the
news.
music, and let's get it going.
Starting off, kicking this off, Dota 2 International has moved to Romania. It was previously up in Seattle, right? Dale, is that where it was?
Yeah, it's been in Seattle, but I thought they had moved it around once or twice before, also, but maybe
Well,
not.
it's in Romania. This next upcoming.
I had heard that it was
international.
something was in Sweden, and they just did such a really bad job with it that they actually had to like scrap the whole thing and move it somewhere else. Is that this, or is that a different event?
That probably wasn't this.
Probably wasn't this. Okay.
I don't know.
Well, there you go.
I threw away my Dota the International T-shirt the other day.
Oh,
It's a new era.
It was just
New
it was
era.
too old. and stuff.
Dale's finally had enough.
Yeah, he's
Dale's
done.
out.
Romania, I'm out.
That was a gift. It was a gift
Here's-
from a friend, but I
Here's
had
someone
to
who's
get rid of
in. Epic Games has won the right to simultaneously bring lawsuit against Apple in Australia while the U.S. lawsuit is going on. Originally, this had been thrown out by a
it. Thanks for
judge.
Jack.
Epic appealed. And so now we're going to bring you the news of two different concurrent lawsuits in Australia and the United States between Epic Games
Sweet.
and Apple. That's right.
Hey, you guys remember that Zelda cartridge I was talking about last
Uh-huh.
Oh,
week?
yeah.
That was up to like 110,000 or whatever.
Yeah, I got it right
that
here.
thing finally sold for $870,000.
That's too much.
Somebody
That's too much
bought
money.
that like new inbox.
Have you ever thought
Legend of
about this?
Zelda.
Like, I was alive when, I was working retail when there were video games like in cabinets. Like, when somebody wanted a copy of
Mhm.
whatever, like you'd go over and you'd pull a whole
Y'all got that,
new.
man?
Like,
Yeah.
what if I just like had taken a cabinet full of those, just put them in a warehouse somewhere? Like, I'd be.
You
I'd
would
be
have
like-
a bunch of boxes of like Uniracers and
I
stuff
know
like
it would be.
that.
It would be
It's
Billy
worth it.
Hatton.
That game rules.
Croc. It'd be Croc.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Diddy Kong Racing.
Oh well.
All right. Well, breaking news, y'all. Netflix Witcher season 2, December 17th. It's coming.
Nice.
We knew it was
mean,
coming. Now we know when.
Toss a
I'll
coin.
watch it.
Is there going to be like a lo-fi downbeat, like toss a coin? Like
Oh, you know there
melancholy
will be.
piano
You know they're
in the
going to be
background?
trying to find some other song to memify,
Mhm.
right? Like that's got to happen.
For sure.
World of Warcraft: Wrath of the Lich King has been adapted or being adapted to a pandemic board game.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it's going to be on WoW Classic now.
Yeah.
No, pandemic.
No.
That board game with the kill viruses. Is
Yeah.
WoW Classic is out. Board games, totally in.
back in.
Totally
Yep.
in. I'm going to piggyback on Jared's announcement here on the Game Bytes Show of Witcher Season 2, and I'm going to say that Witcher Nightmare of the Wolf, the anime or animated feature, I guess, or series, is coming to Netflix next month. So it's actually getting out ahead of The Witcher Season 2.
Whoa.
And-
There's actually a lot of Witcher news because they had Witcher Con last
WitcherCon.
weekend.
They did.
Oh,
That's
is that where
really
this is
weird.
all coming from?
Which we
Yeah.
didn't actually
Witcher Con.
cover, but that's why there's so much Witcher news because there's
But there's
actually
no
an
new
event
Witcher
around it.
game.
We're just going to speed
Right.
through it.
Speaking of Zelda, I read this headline and I just wanted to repeat it to you. The Japanese police arrest man selling modified Zelda Breath of the Wild save files.
Did they arrest him
Whoa.
for that, or was he like naked in public as he was
Well,
doing it?
apparently this guy, who is I guess like a Chinese immigrant to, I'm not sure why that was in the story or whatever, but like maybe they arrested him because they don't like Chinese people. But he made a lot of money apparently off of selling modified game save files, and the charges that I guess that somebody decided to bring against him were that having to do with like copyright infringement. I don't know,
Probably
like
because
weird,
he broke the copy
I'm gonna
protection
say-
or
weird
something.
sort of DMCA stuff. You know,
I'm going to say that this is a dirty cop operation that was brought on by the Yakuza, who have already been doing this, and they
Yeah.
didn't want the competition from this guy.
maybe.
And
Well-
that's going to be the plot to Yakuza Judgment.
Maybe.
That's going to be it.
I like it.
All right. Well, continuing on breaking news out of WitcherCon, Witcher 3 is getting a next-gen upgrade free for anyone owning it, as well as DLC based on the TV show Netflix
Oh, yeah.
series.
That's pretty
Really?
all right.
Not
What,
bad.
what did they say what the DLC would be?
Nah, it's probably like some weapons and stuff. I don't think it's new quests or anything.
Weapons and armor, probably.
Mm-hmm.
SGDQ, Summer Games Done Quip, is over, and they raised $2.9 million this year. So good
Not
on them
bad.
for making a lot of money for charities.
Doctors
Doctors
Without
Without
Borders.
Borders, usually, right?
Médecins
Yep.
Sans Frontières. That's right. I'm going to one-up Dale on his Legend of Zelda cartridge for $870,000. Breaking news, actually, that I saw just hours ago, that some knucklehead has bought a sealed copy of Super Mario 64 for $1.5 million.
Wow,
I
nice.
do not know why.
I love it.
I
I
do
love
not
it.
know why.
Income redistribution.
Why can't somebody like you? If you got that kind of money to spend on something like that, like just give me
By all
like
means,
100,000.
spend it?
Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, so apparently there's an epidemic of PlayStation 5s being displayed upside down in marketing materials.
It's like USB. You've got a 50-50
Well, it's
shot.
50,
in
50, 50
Sony's
shot.
own.
Nobody could tell if it was
Sony's own
upside down or not
Microsoft.
because of the look. It's like, I don't know.
So Sony's own marketing materials have a couple of times now featured the PlayStation 5 upside down,
Oh man.
which is strange. And one of these times apparently it was the like Sony, like, you know, some high up executive at Sony had, like, you know, posted it was like in a Zoom call or whatever, and like in his background there was the PS5 upside down on a shelf.
Here's the thing. Those guys are just super old school because they remember that the PlayStation 1, you remember this?
Yes,
Played
Yeah,
it
of
upside
course.
down. So they're like, it's going to
Yeah.
work much better this way, you guys.
That's
Mhm.
true. They still haven't
not
fixed
bad.
that.
I
Five-
like that
five
kickback, dude.
generations
That
in.
was dope.
Pretty good. So it turns out, speaking of PlayStation, the most downloaded PlayStation 4 game of June was Cyberpunk 2077.
That's
Fresh back on
PlayStation
the
4.
Yes, fresh back on the
And
store.
people who are like really gluttons for punishment, because from what I understand, it's not any better than it was before.
But
That's kinda what I-
I've enjoyed it on PC. So
Well, there you go.
Same.
The last item I've got here is a little bit more techie, but I found it kind of interesting. Amazon Lumberyard. So the renowned releaser of many successful and functional video games,
yep.
Amazon Game Studios.
I love
is
all
na-
their games.
There are many games. There are many releases. Amazon Lumberyard, the game engine that they've been using, is now
Worst
open
name
source.
for a studio or engine or whatever. Ever, you know?
Amazon, because isn't there like a deforestation joke in there
Amazon
Right,
somewhere?
yeah.
Like,
Please,
anyway, so this has now become open source, and they've said that it is supported by, which is, I guess, in use by 30 companies who are all making.
So
use
it's
of the Amazon
it's totally free and open source, so there's no seat fees or subscriptions or anything.
right. Take
But
that,
it's
Epic.
it was also designed with Twitch integration. and,
Amazon Lumberyard, used by 30 companies, all just out of frame.
Yeah, I think that I would love to see somebody release something with this game engine. I'd love to know, like, what does the splash screen look like? Is there actually? I mean, if Amazon can't release games with this engine, please, somebody
coming
from
out.
one of these 30 companies.
New
I'll
World's
believe.
coming
I'll
out.
believe it when I see it. I'll believe it when I see it.
Triple A
Folks.
capable, they say.
Yeah, that's right.
Capable.
Folks, another thing you have to see to believe, the Game Bytes Show podcast. If you're listening to this on syndication, come join us on youtube.com/Game Bytes Show. See the show live. Come chat with us. Send in comments and questions. We can certainly address those live for you. But of course, we will continue to release the Game Bytes Show with many and various successful news items, game impressions, news speed run, and all of that. Here on a weekly basis, and our four-man crew ready to give you all of the news and entertainment information that you crave. All of those electrolytes, just to call back to the beginning of the show. If you have any thoughts or comments about anything that we've talked about in this show, you can find us on social media. Collectively, we are at Game Bytes Show on Twitter. You can also reach out to us individually. I am at Jeremy_Lamont.
You can find me at Legrand.
I'm at Count Elmdor.
I'm at red_I.
You can also find our website, GameByteShow.com. There you can find a back catalog of our prior art of podcasts. You can also find a link to our Discord server. Subscribe to us on YouTube.com/GameByteShow, just so that not only will you know when we are live with these podcast episodes on a weekly basis, but if there's a tournament going on,
You never know.
or I mean, it might just happen. Who knows? Dale may stream, pointing in one direction and flying into the darkness of space for an hour and a half.
Love it.
It's gonna happen. It'll happen sooner or later.
Into
so
the
of course,
abyss.
subscribe, hit that bell so that you get notified as soon as that stuff goes live. And of course, join us on our Discord server where we try to keep you up to date with memes and cool discussion. And of course, the freebies are a little more thorough and a little more timely there as well. And other than that, we'll be back next week to do more of the same. So we appreciate you being with us for this Game Bytes Show podcast. Thank you so much, and we will see you next time.
See ya.
Continue.
Bye.
Did we go really long somehow?
Dude, we talked
first
about
section was
the
really
first about the 4 video games for like 45 minutes.
All right. Jared, thank you for being here until 1. Appreciate that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, we'll set a timer next time or something.
Let's see. Oh no, why did they do this? They changed their export screen.
Oh yeah.
Now
Here's a game. Here's a game that's been released from Amazon Lumberyard.
Oh.
It's called that. It's a fighting game.
Coffee.